Your right hand controls everything on a motorcycle, but most factory throttle tubes feel like rowing a boat just to accelerate. Vague, sloppy, exhausting. And that is just one of 15 factory mistakes I am about to expose. These are not loud pipes or flashy chrome. These are the mods that fix control problems, prevent crashes, and stop your bike from nickel and diming you to death. Half of them do not even look like upgrades, but once you install them, you will wonder how you ever rode without them. So let's get into it. Here is number 1. Number 1. Upgraded throttle tube with a better cam profile. Most riders never think about their throttle tube until they try one with a better profile, and suddenly realize how clunky the factory setup was. Stock throttles have a really long, vague pull. You twist, and twist some more, just to get into the meat of the power band. It is like rowing a boat just to accelerate. Here is the fix. Swap in a quick turn throttle tube, or one with a progressive cam profile. That means you get faster throttle response with less wrist movement and smoother modulation at low speeds. This is not just for racers. It is for anyone who wants better control. Whether you are navigating slow-speed U-turns or trying to hold steady throttle through a bumpy corner, a better tube gives you precision instead of slop. Some upgraded throttle tubes are aluminum, which also gets rid of the flexi plastic feel of the OEM setup. And many are a straight swap. No custom cables or mapping needed. It is one of those mods that feels tiny on paper and completely different in your right hand. Number 2. Tank grip pads. You can have the best suspension and tires in the world, but if your knees are sliding around like you're on a slip and slide, you're fighting your own body every time you hit the brakes or take a corner. That kills control. That's where tank grip pads come in. They are adhesive rubber or textured pads that stick to the sides of your tank, giving your legs something to bite into. The result is instantly better stability, less arm fatigue, and way more control, especially when braking hard or leaning into corners. It's one of those upgrades that feels subtle until you take them off. Suddenly you're gripping harder with your arms, shifting your weight weird, and wondering why the bike feels twitchier. They're also a game changer for taller riders, or anyone who feels like they're sliding forward all the time. And as a bonus, they protect your paint from zippers and tank bags while they're at it. Cheap, invisible, incredibly effective. Tank grips are what separate casual riders from people who actually want to feel locked into their machine. Number 3. Pivoting mirror extenders. Ever looked into your mirror and realized all you can see is your own shoulder? Welcome to factory mirror placement. Most mirrors are designed for aerodynamics and looks, not actual visibility. Adjusting them usually means choosing between a better view or a worse riding position. Pivoting mirror extenders bolt between your mirror and the factory mount, giving you a few extra inches of height or width, and the ability to angle them just right. They do not look tacky like giant mirror stalks, and they do not vibrate like cheap universal parts. What you get is a proper rear view. You can finally see what is going on behind you without tucking your elbows or leaning sideways at every light. And when you are lane splitting or filtering, that extra visibility makes a huge difference. It is not a sexy mod, it is not going to impress anyone, but if you actually ride in traffic, this one earns its keep every single day. Number 4. Folding brake and shift levers for protection. You drop the bike in a parking lot. It happens to the best of us. But instead of just picking it up and brushing off your ego, you realize your shift lever is bent like a pretzel, or worse, snapped off entirely. The ride is over. That is where folding brake and shift levers save the day. These clever little parts pivot on impact instead of bending or braking. So if your bike tips over, or if you have a low-speed slide, the lever folds out of the way instead of taking the hit and snapping off. They're especially valuable on dual sport and ADV bikes, or anything that might get dropped more than once in its lifetime. But even on street bikes, it is a smart upgrade. You get a cleaner look, more flexibility, and the peace of mind knowing a minor mistake does not turn into a full-blown rescue mission. Some even have adjustable lengths and better ergonomics than stock, which means they are an upgrade even if you never crash. But if you do, you will be glad you spent the extra $40 on parts that did not leave you stuck on the side of the road. Number 5. Axle sliders that double as towing spools. Most people think axle sliders are only crash protection. That is part of it, but the smarter play is a set that also doubles as towing or paddock stand mounts. 2 modifications, 1 clean setup. These combo-style sliders mount through your rear axle, and sometimes the front axle, to give you a solid pickup point for a rear stand. Perfect for chain maintenance, tire swaps, or winter storage. Second, they protect your swing arm and axle if the bike tips over or slides down the road. Because they mount through the axle, they are tougher and less janky looking than bolt-on swing arm spool brackets that can snap off the first time you hit a pothole. It is clean, subtle, and smart. Bonus, with sliders already installed, you have a built-in tie-down point for loading the bike on a trailer or getting pulled out of a ditch, and it will not bend or snap like stock hardware. They do not cost much, they do not add noticeable weight, and they solve 3 problems in one go. Number 6. Handlebar vibration, the dampers that actually work. Ever ride for an hour, pull off your gloves, and your hands are still buzzing like you stuck them in a beehive? That is handlebar vibration. Every bike has some, but certain engines, especially singles and parallel twins, can shake your arms numb. Enter bar end vibration dampers. Not be confused with bar end weights, which help only a little. True dampers are designed to absorb and dissipate vibration through mass and internal friction, not just add weight. Some use rubber isolators, some use internal springs or gel inserts, but the effect is the same. Less fatigue, better comfort, and more control. They are not just for touring bikes. Anyone doing long commutes or spirited rides can benefit. Your mirrors stay clearer, your throttle hand stops tingling, and your grip stays looser because your hands are not subconsciously clenching just to stay steady. They are stealthy, they work, and they make every ride feel smoother, even if no one else ever notices. Number 7. Clutch arm extension. Your left hand will thank you. This is one you rarely hear about, but once you try it, it changes everything. A clutch arm extension is a simple bolt-on piece that mounts to your clutch actuator arm at the engine, and it gives you a longer lever ratio. That means it makes your clutch pull noticeably lighter without changing the actual clutch springs or cable. This mod is a game changer for bikes with stiff clutch pulls, especially older models, cable setups, or aggressive sport clutches. If you ride in traffic, do slow speed work, or value comfort on long rides, it is one of the best mods you can make. The beauty is in the physics. A longer lever means more mechanical advantage. You pull the lever the same distance, but it takes less force. It does not change the feel at the bar much, and most riders will not even notice the extension tucked down by the engine. But your hand definitely notices. This is one of those mods that feels like cheating. For long-distance riders and people with hand fatigue, it kind of is. Number 8. Waterproof USB charging port with a kill switch. Everyone wants a USB port on their bike until they realize most of them drain your battery even when the bike is off. That is the dirty little secret nobody tells you. You wire it up, forget about it, and a week later your bike will not start because your charger has been sipping power 24/7. That is why the smart move is installing a USB port with an integrated waterproof kill switch. Flip it on when you need juice, flip it off when you are done. No drain, no problem. Mounted in a weatherproof spot, for example under the seat, in a tank bag passed through, or inside a bar-mounted switch cluster, and pair it with a fuse circuit. Now you have clean, protected power that will not ruin your day. It is one of those tiny upgrades that saves you massive headaches. No more pulling fuses, rewiring accessories, or coming back to a dead bike because you left your GPS plugged in overnight. Cheap, easy, and it saves your battery's life. What more do you want? Number 9. LED load equalizer. You swapped your old turn signals for slick low-profile LEDs. They look awesome, they draw less power, and they light up like lightning. But now your signals blink like they are having a panic attack, or worse, they do not blink at all. Welcome to the world of hyperflashing. That is where an LED load equalizer comes in. It is a simple inline resistor or module that tells your flasher relay that this is not a bulb burning out, we are just more efficient. Most bikes are wired for halogen bulbs that draw more current. When you replace them with LEDs, the system thinks the bulb is dead. Your dash throws warnings, your blinkers go nuts, and your relay starts throwing a tantrum. An LED load equalizer fixes it cleanly. Plug-and-play kits exist for most popular bikes, or you can wire one inline yourself with a little solder and heat shrink. Bonus, some modules also let you customize your flash rate for a more subtle Euro-style blink. It is not glamorous, but if you are running LED signals and have not done this yet, you are just asking for electrical headaches. Number 10. Turn signal cancel module. You finish a turn, merge back into traffic, and 5 minutes later your blinker is still on. It happens to everyone, especially on bikes with old school switchgear and no auto cancel function. Not only is it annoying, it is dangerous. It makes drivers think you are about to turn again, and it kills your lane positioning game. Enter the turn signal cancel module, a clever little device that automatically shuts off your blinkers after a set time or distance. Some work off a simple timer, others monitor speed or lean angle to decide when you have completed the turn. Either way, you stop riding around looking like a confused grandpa in a Buick. It is especially handy on cruisers and standards with stiff switches or gloves that make the cancel button hard to feel. Plus, you will not need to second-guess yourself mid-corner trying to remember if you turned it off. It is a small upgrade, but one that saves embarrassment, miscommunication, and possibly an accident. Just install it once and ride smarter every day. Number 11. Magnetic drain plug. Your engine's early warning system. Oil changes are basic, but if you want to make them smart, swap out your regular drain plug for a magnetic one. It is one of the cheapest insurance policies you can bolt onto your bike. Why? Because as your engine wears, tiny metal shavings can circulate through the oil. A magnetic drain plug traps those particles before they go deeper into your system, acting like a mini oil filter for ferrous debris. Even better, it gives you a visual clue if something is going wrong. A little fuzz on the magnet means normal wear. Big chunks or heavy buildup means something is breaking down, and now you know before it explodes. It does not change how you ride or how you do maintenance, but it gives you one more layer of insight that could save your engine and your wallet down the road. Number 12. Inline fuel filter with quick disconnect fittings. If you've ever had to pull your tank to do basic maintenance, you know the drill. Awkward angles, fuel dripping, hoses fighting you the whole way. And if your bike is carbureted, or even some older electronic fuel injection models, you might be gambling every time you put the tank back down. This is where an inline fuel filter with quick disconnects becomes a total lifesaver. You add a compact, transparent fuel filter between the tank and the carburetor or injectors, and use quick disconnect couplings to make removal a one-click job. No clamps, no spills, no guesswork. You get two big wins here. One, cleaner fuel, especially on bikes that sit a lot or get gas from questionable stations. Two, way easier maintenance. No more pulling lines off while praying you do not tear or kink something. Many quick disconnects also have auto shut-off valves, which means no fuel leaking out once you separate them. It is the kind of upgrade that feels like it should have come from the factory. Not flashy, not expensive, but once you install one, you will wonder how you ever lived without it. Number 13. Silicone vacuum caps. Half the factory hoses are pointless. Pop the tank and look under the airbox. What do you see? A spaghetti mess of rubber vacuum lines going everywhere, and half of them are not even connected to anything. They are capped with crusty old rubber plugs that crack the first time you look at them sideways. That is where silicone vacuum caps come in. It is one of the simplest, cheapest mods you can make, and it instantly cleans up your engine bay and prevents mystery vacuum leaks down the line. Unlike the stock rubber junk that dry rots after 2 summers, silicone vacuum caps are heat resistant, fuel resistant, and way more durable. You can get a kit of assorted sizes for under $10 and have enough to do your bike, your buddy's bike, and your lawnmower. So why does this matter? Because vacuum leaks cause all kinds of annoying symptoms. Rough idle, hard starting, weird throttle response, and they are often traced back to one of those dumb little caps rotted off a metal barb. Plug them with silicone, forget about them, and never deal with cracked rubber gremlins again. Number 14. Tapered wheel balancing weights. Most riders never think about their wheel weights until one goes flying, and suddenly the bars start wobbling at 65 miles per hour. Those little stick-on weights that came with your last tire change are garbage. They peel, they corrode, they fall off with heat and rain, and they look like a leftover science project. Enter tapered clamp-on wheel balancing weights. These install directly onto the wheel lip, usually with a tight mechanical fit or a tiny grub screw. They are sleek, they are secure, and they do not rely on tape that stops sticking the moment it sees moisture or tire lube. Even better, some are reusable. That means you are not constantly rebalancing or resticking weights every time you swap tires. They stay put, they look like OEM, and they are far more aerodynamic and durable than that little square of oxidized tape flapping in the breeze. Number 15. LED backlighting for your gauges. Here is one of those mods that no one notices until they ride your bike at night and say, "Wait, why does this look so damn good?" Stock gauge lighting on most bikes is an afterthought. Dim, uneven, sometimes just one sad bulb trying to light up your speedo and tacked from behind a foggy plastic screen. Swapping in a low-power LED backlight gives your cluster a whole new lease on life. We are not talking about blinding neon here. Just subtle, even illumination in the color you want. White, amber, soft red, whatever suits your ride. Brighter, crisper, and way easier to read at night. Bonus, LEDs last way longer and draw less power, which is good news if you are running a smaller charging system or a lithium battery. It's not just about looks, it's about clarity. When you are ripping down a dark highway at 75 miles per hour, the last thing you want is to squint at your gauges wondering if that is a low fuel warning or just a weird reflection. The best mods aren't always loud, expensive, or flashy. Sometimes they are small, practical, and invisible to everyone but you. It is the rider who actually benefits from them every mile. These upgrades don't win shows, but they win rides. Less fatigue, fewer headaches, easier maintenance, and more control. That is the kind of custom work that matters. Which of these are you running already, or did I miss a hidden gem? Drop a comment and let me know. Hit subscribe so we can build a safer riding community together.